Hey everybody, I am on for the midweek message reveal Wednesday, March 19th. All right, so jumping into the astrology this week, we just came off of a total full moon eclipse on the 13th in Virgo. And that has been the catalyst for the opening to the eclipse window. So now we are moving through a new space that allows us to review, because we also have Venus and Mercury in retrograde in Aries. So this is all about speaking for yourself and loving yourself, because Venus is the baby of the zodiac. Tomorrow is also the equinox, the spring equinox, where it is the true astrological beginning of the new astrological year, and the first day of spring. All of these things converging and opening and allowing what? Actual tangible action to take place from some of the things that we've been kind of holding back as we experience a certain sort of winter. And in this environment, we experience a feeling of hope and a desire for there to be a return on our investment. So we're really looking for those things in our environment. What's difficult is that the environment and the energies aren't necessarily cultivating a quick return or a straightforward answer on clarity that we're looking for, or the ability for us to really have a guidepost. And I personally believe that these things are an act of faith, where you kind of have to just feel into yourself and feel that inner fortitude. And it's there that we're actually finding that feeling of, I don't know how things resolve, but they do. I don't know how things get back to a certain equilibrium that is positive for everyone, but they will. And there is a comfort in that knowing, if you can release the how, and that is the true bliss in life. If you can stay in the present moment, if you can allow yourself to be in this second instead of behind yourself or in front of yourself or expecting things to change, that is the sweet spot. And through that is where all creation, and you're at your highest point of concentration. You're your most you. You're your most powerful you and your most powerful self. It's hard to stay in, honestly. It's tough. And the human body and the human experience is very, opposite that level of lightness. At least that's how we've been kind of socialized in fear to feel. And I really feel that this is our opportunity to see the other side of things and to truly lean into the possibility of things shifting in an energy that we've never experienced before. And that is a lot of things that are happening astrologically. There haven't been humans alive to tell us how this went. And isn't that an interesting thing to know? It just is. All right, so I'm going to jump into the readings here. I really feel a lot of connection with people through the crystals or whatever it is that we're choosing for the week. And this week there's been a lot of conversation. I feel like there's a lot of chattiness that's going on with everyone. So looking forward to talking about that. All right, so if you chose one, it's a beautiful Kuan Yin. All right. So connecting with your energy one, I'm really feeling a sense of a desire to be liberated from a heaviness, and that heaviness is in the physical. There's either a weight that is like a physical sensation of weight, a slowness, a sluggishness, and that can even be in a mental sense, that's causing the feeling of not having enough energy. Also in other cases, for some people, it's kind of presenting more as a perceived block, not being able to move forward and to cast off the funk. So there's this sort of bugaboo in the closet. This is a really strange word to just kind of come out of my mouth there, but that's a specific word. It's something that comes back around again. So one, you're dealing with some cyclical patterning that's happening here, and it is affecting the joints. I do feel a real pull in the hips and the thighs. So like a slowness in the legs, a feeling of maybe even feeling unable to to fully extend. And in this is, if we look at this in a spiritual sense, this is trepidation about where to turn, not sure when to make a move, and feeling unsure if you'll be able to make that move when and if push came to shove. And the answer to all of that is yes, you would. It's the thinking in your mind and the limiting beliefs that have kind of crept in that are kind of keeping you pushing you back into the chair. It's kind of like when someone's trying to get out of a recliner, right? And it rocks and you kind of have to go with the momentum of standing up, and you're being tipped back into the chair, and it's just easier to just roll with it and rock instead of trying to push against. You're being asked to challenge that, but acknowledge where you are in the process. This is something you might be starting to realize or starting to acknowledge is your role in it. And this isn't something that needs to pass yourself through judgment either. And I think that that's why it's difficult to look at, literally, because it can change as soon as you decide to. This freedom feeling will come with more of a feeling of a desire to actually be in movement and to be in more of a flow. You might even be thinking or daydreaming about taking walks or doing something that's allowing you some time to kind of wander. You might even be one of those people that paces a lot. That might be picking up now. And I do feel that that has to do with just a certain sort of energy that's coming through because of the retrogrades. So just know that you're seen, and know that if you decide that this is where you want to set down the weight, where you want to set down the heaviness, where you want to set down the depression or the vibe or the I can't get out of my own way, this is the place where you can leave it and you can go ahead and start something else. It's just a matter of acknowledging that it's there, and you're right there to do it. So just do it, and it's okay, because we're all in different spots like that for different things in different ways. All right, moving on to 2. If you chose 2. Okay. Connecting with your energy too. I'm feeling a lot that's happening here in the back of my neck, like along here down into the clavicles and the top of the shoulders. There's even a pinching that's more a little bit on the left side. This sort of tension energy that's happening here is actually kind of locking up and making me feel like I have an inability of actually moving. In the shoulder region, especially if we're looking on the left side of the body is wanting there to be a presence of nurturing and comfort, an ability to receive and to receive support. And I'm getting a ping in the left ear as well, which is confirming that. So looking for support, but finding that you are the one who's going to have to give it to yourself is a difficult realization that you're going through too. And it is almost something that you've been asking for. You've been looking for someone to come through, or a situation, or a happenstance rather, a situation. Yes, situation that is asking you to kind of get into a space where you have to confront how it is that you show up and where you show support for yourself and where you walk your talk. And you have had another group of people, or even someone who acts as a, maybe not an authority, but like someone who is a caretaker, or somebody who you lean on for advice, seems to be the one to swoop in and kind of do the supporting, or the giving the ear, or being the sounding board, or being someone that you're consulting at all times. And you're in a space now where you get to be the one to consult, because you don't necessarily need that information, and you're looking to lean more on your own resources at this time. And at the same time, it makes you a little nervous, and that's okay. When we're reaching out and doing new things, and especially when we're kind of testing ourselves with ourselves, it's extra vulnerable, right? Like, all your own bullshit. you know where you're going, all your moves, and you know the way that you evade, and the way that you can deceive and divulge or not divulge. And it's through these things that makes us feel a little uncomfortable, which is why we reach and externalize to other people and ask for support. Like, am I okay? Does this make sense? Am I doing this right? there's a different level of self-acceptance and self-love that you're going to experience through this time, because it is going to be challenging, because you are going to be questioned about how you show up for yourself and how you love yourself. And it's the retrograde of Venus that is going to be asking for that, and asking for you to be a little bit more selfish about the things that you want, and is going to be asking you to put your money where your mouth is and speak up for the things that you want. You're kind of in a situation where you're learning how to do that, and your environment is giving you very specific, personalized scenarios that are kind of training you to go through these different phases and try on these different personalities and try on these different opportunities for you to stand up and say what you want and put your money where your mouth is. And while it might be challenging, it's actually quite exciting. So let yourself learn and give yourself a break, because you're doing a great job just being present and being a part of things. And it's a lot more than you would have given yourself credit for in the past. So you're growing there. Just keep on leaning into it. You'll be surprised that it's actually an entertaining process. All right, moving on to 3. Okay, 3. Okay, 3. Not surprising that this is an eye, but I'm getting a twitching here in my right eye here for you in 3. There's an issue around seeing things clearly that is coming up for you. And this isn't a situation where you're wanting clarity around something that is difficult to define. Because while it might seem like you are wanting information or wanting something to resolve that seems very straightforward, like let me come up with an example. Say you're waiting on an information about something being approved. Okay, that could be a billion things, but you really kind of have to just sit with it. You can't really do anything about it. You're waiting for news. You're waiting for the yay or nay, and then from there, you have a couple different courses of action to consider. The difficulty around the clarity in this situation, whatever it is for you, because it's different for everyone, is that you can't see into it too far because it's emotional for you. So what you're learning to do here is you're learning to clarify and use what's called discernment in order to determine what is your limit of leaning into things with your intuition, okay? Because when you lean in, you can't help but get emotionally sort of attached to the outcome, or to creating a story around the other person or situation, almost filling in the gaps. And when you fill in the gaps on things, you give power to a storyline that is kind of it differs from the true storyline that you're actually a part of now. And your energy kind of gets split between how things are really happening in your perspective and how you're seeing things and how you're seeing things go, versus what you're filling in for the other person, for the people who aren't participating, for the storyline that isn't making sense, all of the things that you don't know or could suppose, and then fill in scenario here, this must be why they did that. Oh, I know, I have to take into consideration that so-and-so is having a family, blah, 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 and then this must be why they said this and this, and you're getting yourself all rolled up into this sort of false drama that doesn't exist. It's not a real thing. It's almost something to stand in the way of you coming to terms with something either being at its end, something that needs to be let go of, somebody who needs to, understand that you are not going to put up with them the way they are anymore. There's a lot of finality on the other side of this sort of situation that you're making excuses for. The clarity is there. You're the one just muddying the waters, and you don't even realize you're doing that. It's not a bad thing. It's just how you're processing right now. And understand that as things start to settle down and you start to feel more in your body and pay attention to your own personal needs and bring your energy back into you, you'll find that the clarity and the the snares, the appeared knots, the things that seem to be the obstacles aren't really that complicated or aren't that deep, or it doesn't feel that impossible. There isn't so much spiking of adrenaline over these things because you're stressing yourself out. So knock it off. There you go. Knock it off. All right. And 4, if you chose 4. Nom, nom, nom. All right. All right. So for connecting with your energy, I'm seeing a kind of like a safari desert sort of scene in my mind, and there's a huge elephant, and this elephant is walking very just majestically across my vision, and it's carrying a little branch in its trunk and kind of swinging it around. Elephants are connected to the concept of memory and the understanding that there is a perspective of greatness that is both physical and mental. There's figurative greatness, there's metaphorical greatness, and there's greatness in size. And they encapsulate a both and. There's a memory that's coming through that's very much tied to a feeling of comfort, and a person who is kind of like the person you think of when you think of being comforted. So that will be different for everyone. But this energy comes through and is asking for you to spend a bit more time comforting yourself, because there has been a lack of attention to your, not your self-care, because self-care is just such a buzzword. It's more that there is a desire to baby yourself in a way that allows you to be great and small at the same time. Almost in a way like an infant that gets to be swaddled and kept safe and kept close. There is a desire for you from yourself to really be close to you. It might sound a little silly, but it's almost as if you miss yourself. And there isn't enough time where you get to connect with you in a way that is genuine or is in alignment with what it is you need from yourself now. Because there's been a disconnect. There's been too many things that have been happening, and there's too many people who are requiring your attention that are taking you elsewhere, right? And that's normal life. It happens to everyone. But what's being asked and what's being requested, especially from your team, is for you to remember and to reconnect to yourself and allow yourself that time to truly heal and nurture and comfort, because there are certain things that you can do on your own that don't require other people, don't require other things or anything except from your own attention. Where can you give yourself a little bit more time? So that's you asking for that time. So if you need permission to take a nap, if you need permission to go and spend some time journaling or taking a nice long walk or eating a meditative meal, however it is that you want to honor that with yourself, you have all the permission you ever needed. Okay? All right. So those are the messages this week. Thank you for hanging out with me. Would love to hear how they landed for you. So please leave me some feedback. Would love to work with you too. Please reach out to me at my website. You can ping me on all of the socials at Kelly Lightbridge. So please reach out and let me know, because I would love to work on whatever it is that you're interested in. I have some interesting projects coming up that I'll be sharing with shortly, and would love to see how you fit into them. So please make yourself known. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your night, and I will check y'all later, okay? Peace.